All right, good day, everyone. Um, I'm introducing this billing system whereby we have to classify our customers based on the consumption per DTRO. And I'll be doing about 2 or 3 videos, but I will have to break it down so that we can easily watch them online as I upload them on YouTube. So, quickly, I want to look at customer classification. Okay, for those of you who don't know that everything we need to do in our region, they are available on our site. This is our site, site.google.com. You can see it, which I have always share with us in our platform. Okay, you can do a lot of things here. You see business distribution report and the rest. But let's go to the business of today. You click on the billing tab. Now, in the billing tab, you will see allocate energy to DTROs, submit customer class, view billing data. So now let's look at customer classification. You click on customer classification. Okay, I want to take time to explain what this actually means so that you have understanding of what customer classification is. The idea of customer classification is for us to be able to rank our customers per DTRO. Each month, there's always a customer that consumes more or most compared to every other customer in a DTRO. And that DTR and that customer is uh, classified as the maximum consuming customer in that DTRO. Please take note, I always use the word DTRO because the idea is customer classification DTRO wise. So when you have this idea, it will make your classification easy. So when you click on that link, it will take you to this classification form. And then I also did some explanations here, which will aid your understanding on what customer classification is all about. Now, the first thing is the maximum consuming customer in a DTR should be classified as 20, while other customers can be classified relative to the consumption of the maximum consuming customer. What that means is that you get to a transformer first as a TTRO executive, which of the customers in that transformer consumes the most? So you identify the customer that consumes the most. Whether the one that consumes the most has only a deep freezer and whatever, maybe two bulbs or and a fan and so on, maybe just few appliances, please let that customer be classified as 20 so long as is the maximum consuming customer in that DTR. So that's the idea. You classify that customer as 20. And then, secondly, customers are classified DTR wise. Well, let me still throw more light on the first point. So when that customer is classified as 20, other customers will not be classified relative to that customer. So this customer has a deep freezer and two fans and maybe or maybe he has two deep freezer and two fans. I'm just using that one as example. Now there's another customer in that same transformer that has one deep freezer now as against two deep freezer, same rating and one fan. That means the second customer consumes half of what that first customer is consuming. So what that means is that while that first customer is being ranked as 20, the second customer is now being ranked relative to the first customer, meaning that the second customer is ranked 10. Okay. Then maybe there's another customer that consumes very maybe one third of what that customer, the maximum consuming customer, is consuming. You just relate it. That's just it. Just do little mathematics and say, okay, I'm going to give this customer probably 7, right? Okay. Yeah, I think about 7. If it's consuming one third, so it's about 7 or 6. That's just it. So, second point is this: customers are classified DTRO wise, meaning a customer in a DTRO is not to be compared to a customer another customer in DTRO B. So a customer in DTRO A should not be compared to a customer in DTRO B. What this means is that if you have two transformers, for instance, one is DTRO A, another one is DTRO B. Now, because um, your the maximum consuming customer in DTRO A has two deep freezers, and then there's another customer in DTRO B. That one has one deep freezer. Meanwhile, that customer in DTRO B is the maximum consuming customer in DTRO B. Don't rank that second customer 10. That is to say, if you are doing that, you are relating DTRO B now to DTRO A. No, it is DTRO wise. So that second customer that is the maximum that has only one deep freezer in a different DTRO that is the most consuming customer in the second DTRO should also be ranked 20, and other transformer and other customers ranked relative to that first customer in your in DTRO B. Thirdly, classifying customers in a TTRO as low rank class, e.g., 1, does not mean that you can cheat under DTROs or DTROs. It only means the energy allocated to that DTRO will be shared based on the class you have put there. And by default, all energy allocated to the DTRO will be shared among the customers. What that means is this is some DTRO executive may want to act wise and say, okay, I'm going to classify all my customers in all my DTROs 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No, what that means is that you want to share the energy in that your DTRO almost the same. If you classify them, let's assume you have two customers in DTRO B, and then you classify them 1, 1, and then there's 100 units allocated to that DTRO. It is automatically 50-50. So whether you classify uh, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 is the same thing as classifying as 2020. So the best practice for you to do is to um, classify the customers based on their consumption. So let the maximum consuming customer in that your second DTR be 20, and then if the other customer is consuming half of what that first customer is consuming, you cannot say 10. So by so doing, when you allocate 20 units, or let's just say 300 units to that DTRO, automatically the maximum consuming takes 200, and then the other one takes 100, which is like that half. It has consumed half. So that's the idea. Now, where a customer is disconnected and you want the customer bid 0 units, I'm looking at point 4. Classify only that customer as 0. Now we have a situation whereby a customer may not be disconnected in a month. So what that means is you need to check that customer and see if the customer okay, the customer is disconnected. So what you need to do is submit the customer as 0. It will ask you the reason why you want the customer to be on 0. Then you put it, for instance, vacant. The apartment is vacant. So only that customer will be bid 0, while other customers will be bid based on their usual classification. Number 5, in a situation where a GTRO is out and all customers need to be bid 0, you don't need to classify all of them as 0. The coordinator will assign 0 units to the GTRO. Do you understand? What that means is, let's assume a transformer goes out for a complete billing cycle. What that means is you don't need to go and start classifying all of them 0, 0, 0, 0. No, that will make you stress yourself. That means you need to maybe in subsequent months you now need to reclassify them again, which will stress you. So what you just need to do when it's time for you to allocate energy, which I will still do another video concerning that, you just allocate zero energy to that data row, and all the customers in that transformers are bid zero. So um, number six, if you have classified your customers well this month, this is the advantage. You don't need to reclassify them next month. If you have classified the customers well, your billing is simple and super. You don't need to reclassify them. The maximum consuming customer is still the maximum consuming customer, except for little changes that you may need to do within the month. Maybe new customers that came in, or a customer that you feel that, okay, this is not consuming more. Let me push this class higher. That's the point. It makes your work easy. Just get it right this month, and your work become easy. I think for these examples, I've talked about them in the course of my um, uh, um, introduction. Okay, so what we have here is, let's just take is an example of customer classification and see how it works online. I'm going to click on this. Let me view the billing data first, so we'll see what happens when we do our customer classification. So the billing data is always online. I'm going to be updating it. The billing data will always be online, so you don't need to stress yourself. They will always be available to you. So you can always do your classification anytime and any day. All right. Okay, so we have this open. This is what we have currently as our customer classification data. I'm trying to get to the top. Just give it a little seconds. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to this first account. I just want to copy it here. So this first account, I want to classify it as something. So let me classify it, for instance, as four. As let me just say eight. Just use eight. Classify it. Submitted that. In a short while, my name will appear here. Okay, the class will appear here and my name. Okay, you've seen it. So you see the eight, and then you see the person who classified it. Let me classify the second one. I'm going to remember to change this back to the class it was. Let me classify it as zero. Okay, so I'm classifying this as zero. It's going to ask me, why do I want to classify the customer as zero? So I'm going to say vacant, maybe apartments. Okay, submit. So this means I am saying that I'm classifying this customer zero because it's a vacant apartment. Now you will not see the energy that are allocated to them here. I will talk on that in maybe next video or the next two videos. Thank you very much. I do hope you understand this idea of classification. So it's as simple as that.